time I met a service dog. My friend Marla brought him to my office and introduced me to her dog, Sapper, and he immediately wrapped himself around my legs. And I looked down and I said, "What's wrong with your dog?" And without missing a beat, she said, "What's wrong with you, girl? My dog is telling me you got something going on." And I just let everything out. I told her about the sexual assaults. I told her about the PTSD. I told her about the shame, the guilt, everything I carried with me every single day, but I never spoke about it until this dog did this for me. But despite all that, I did go to college. I did become a licensed therapist, and I was helping change other people's lives. But I was not working on myself because I was too busy working and trying to convince myself I was normal. So she decided she was going to help me get a service dog, and I was so thankful for that. The first day I met my service dog was on my late mother's birthday. I felt like it was a sign that she was sending him to me because I was really nervous. But when I looked at him and I saw those soft brown eyes, I felt like he looked into my soul. Even though he's a pit bull, and I've heard less than favorable stories about him, I fell in love with him. I looked at his face, and he had all these little bite mark scars on his face because he was a bait dog for a dog fighting ring. But he was too gentle, and he wouldn't fight back, so they dumped him at the shelter. And that's how he came into my life. Then I started thinking about all my scars from all my surgeries, and how I had PTSD, and people had negative thoughts about people with PTSD. So we both were kind of outcasts of society, and that kind of bonded me with him. That first night when I took him home, I was having one of my usual night terrors, but this time it was different. I felt something in my hand, just so gentle, brushing against my hand. And I opened my eyes and I was disoriented, but when I looked, it was him, Truman. He was nuzzling my hand to wake me up so gently. I never felt relief like that before. And I was just stunned and I cried. I was like, wow, I can actually sleep at night because he's watching me. Unlike my son's father, who used to poke me with a broom to wake me up because I used to swing at him. And it continued into the next day. That morning when I went to take my usual shower, he followed me in and he plopped down on the bath mat. Now I tell you, for 20 years I had this system of taking a shower with one eye open. Scrub one eye, scrub the other eye. Never could I close both eyes because of the sensory deprivation of what happened to me with my assaults. But on this day, with Truman on the mat and looking at that door, I closed both of my eyes and took a real shower for the first time in 20 years, and it was glorious. It was the best day ever. And it didn't stop there. When we went out in public, he taught me some things about myself. He taught me that my feelings go outwards and I affect people. When I have too much anxiety, he would nudge me to let me know before I get triggered. And he did save me from a lot of screw-ups. When I was in line, he would always sit behind me, facing the opposite way, leaning against my leg, so that nobody could come up behind me. On my good days, he would invite people in to talk to us. On my bad days, he would push that bubble out and have people leave me alone. Before I had Truman, I felt like I was just Forrest Gumping my way through life. I thought being in survival mode was normal. I thought nightmares and night terrors and just being irritable all the time was okay. Every day, I felt guilt, I felt shame, I blamed myself for my assaults, that I should have done something different, and I was angry at the military for not giving me the right medical care that caused me to have disabilities at such a young age. But now, here's Truman in my life. Changes my life. I ended up going to treatment in 2017 in Wyoming for 6 weeks for women that were sexually traumatized. And that was one of the hardest things I ever did. But he helped me through that. He was the key to keep me there and to keep me through it. And because of him, other women stayed in the program and we all bonded together. And you know what I found out? There are a lot of women out there that were sexually assaulted in the military and let out early, before their time. Well, the perpetrators usually got to retire and have all the benefits. But he also helped me find a new purpose. We started a charity called the Truman Foundation because we found out in a hurry, not a lot of people understand about service dogs and service dog etiquette. And that was my new passion, is to teach people about veteran mental health and about service dogs and the relationship we have. And Truman was the best ambassador because he could always read people and he knew who we needed to talk to, and they had a way of opening up when he was around. Then in 2021, the big C happened. He had a tumor in his armpit and it was inoperable. For 6 months, I stayed with him. I prayed every day when he went to treatment. Please don't take him. Please don't take him. But on July 1st, he succumbed to the cancer. It was too much. And I lost my best friend that day. And I was having a hard time with my guilt, my grief, I'm sorry. So I went to a pet psychic of all things. And I was really surprised with what she told me. She told me that Truman was on the other side with my late mother and my family, and he still wore his best, and he was still helping people. And he was adamant for me to know that he wanted me to continue my charity so I could help other people and keep his legacy alive, and to finish the books that I have not finished. That blew my mind. And she also smiled and told me that he did send me my new service dog, Teddy Roosevelt, because I needed to laugh again. And Teddy Roosevelt does make me laugh. He's got an underbite, he's got a messed up eye like I do, and his kneecaps pop out, and he's always like playing jokes, so he's my spirit animal, to say the least. And so now he and I are going to continue that legacy to keep Truman's legacy alive. That's why I call myself a service human in training, SHIT. Because my dog Truman taught me how to be a better human, and I wouldn't be shit without him.